"You're our dad," two little girls told the billionaire CEO in the elevator with his investor. The high-rise elevator in downtown Manhattan hummed softly as it ascended toward the 52nd floor. Alexander Alex Harrington, CEO of Harrington Tech, a billion-dollar empire in AI and cybersecurity, stood with perfect posture in his tailored charcoal suit. Beside him was Marcus Reynolds, a sharp-eyed venture capitalist from Silicon Valley, mid-conversation about the $200 million funding round they were about to finalize. The doors slid open on the 28th floor. Two little girls stepped in, identical twins, about 7 years old, with matching Navy school uniforms and neat braids tied with bright red ribbons. They didn't press any buttons. They just stared up at Alex, hopeful and a little nervous. Then the girl with the stuffed rabbit tugged her sister's sleeve and whispered, loud enough for the adults to hear, "That's him, Emma. That's our dad." Emma nodded, stepping forward bravely. "You're our dad," she said clearly, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Alex blinked. Marcus nearly dropped his phone. "Excuse me," Alex said, voice calm but edged with confusion. "Mommy has your picture on her phone. She said your name is Alex Harrington, and you work in the tallest building in Midtown. We looked it up." Emma unfolded a paper, a printed photo of Alex from Forbes, next to a crayon drawing of a tall man with two small girls. "We wanted to meet you, just to know you. Mommy doesn't know we're here. We took the subway after school. Have you ever had a moment when your entire life changed in an instant? When everything you thought mattered suddenly seemed insignificant compared to what stood before you? You have kids." Marcus stared at Alex, the $200 million deal momentarily forgotten. The elevator continued its climb, but time seemed to stand still. Alex's mind reeled. He had no children, never married. His life was calculated risks, 80-hour weeks, and the occasional high-profile date that never went beyond a few months. But the girls' faces, the determined set of their jaws, the exact way their eyebrows arched, stirred something buried deep. And the timeline, 8 years ago. 8 years ago, Claire Thompson had been the bright, quick-witted barista at the corner cafe near his old startup office. Late nights, shared coffees, long conversations that felt like the only real thing in his high-pressure world. Then she stopped showing up. No explanation. He'd looked for her once or twice, but life moved fast. He'd assumed she'd wanted space. He knelt slowly, eye level with them. "What's your mom's name?" "Claire Thompson," Lily said proudly. "She's really smart. She owns her own graphic design business now, and she makes the best pancakes. She talks about you sometimes. Says you were kind and busy building big things." Emma added, "We don't need anything. We just wanted a dad. Or at least to know what you're like." The elevator dinged past floor 45. Silence stretched. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "Alex, the meeting." "Reschedule it," Alex said quietly, not breaking eye contact with the girls. "Tell them a family matter came up." He looked at Lily and Emma. "I'm coming with you. Let's go see your mom." Together. Marcus's jaw dropped. "Alex, this is a $200 million deal. The entire board is waiting." "I said reschedule it." Alex's voice was soft but left no room for argument. He turned to the girls. "Which floor is the lobby?" "L," Emma said, pointing to the button panel. "That's what the doorman told us." Alex pressed it, and the elevator began its descent. As they dropped past floor after floor of the empire he'd built, Alex felt something shift inside him, priorities rearranging themselves without his conscious permission. "So," Lily looked up at him, clutching her stuffed rabbit tighter. "Are you surprised to see us?" A surprised laugh escaped him. "Very surprised. I didn't know you existed until 2 minutes ago." "But you're not mad?" Emma's voice wavered slightly. "No," Alex said, surprising himself with the truth of it. "Not mad. Just processing." The elevator reached the lobby, and the doors slid open to reveal the gleaming marble floor and soaring ceilings of Harrington Tower. Employees and visitors moved through the space, oblivious to the life-altering moment taking place in their midst. Where does your mom think you are right now? Alex asked as they stepped out. School, the twins said in unison. And school is? Westbrook Academy in Brooklyn, Lily supplied. We were supposed to take the bus home. Alex checked his watch. It's almost 3:30. Does your mom know you're missing yet? The girls exchanged guilty looks. Probably, Emma admitted. The bus would have gotten to our stop at 3:15. Alex pulled out his phone. I need to call my assistant to handle some things. Then we're going straight to Brooklyn to find your mom. She must be worried sick. As Alex made arrangements, he watched the twins whispering to each other, their heads bent close together. They were so small to have navigated New York City alone, so brave to have sought out a stranger, even one they believed to be their father. The thought sent a chill through him. What if they'd approached someone else? What if they'd gotten lost? Okay, he said, pocketing his phone. My driver is bringing the car around. Let's go find your mom. In the sleek black town car, the twins sat side by side, their school backpacks at their feet, looking both triumphant and increasingly nervous as the reality of their adventure sank in. Are we in trouble? Lily asked, voicing what was clearly on both their minds. With me? No, Alex said. With your mom? I'd say that's a safe bet. But she'll be happy too, right? Emma pressed. Once she sees we found you? Alex had no idea how Claire would react to seeing him after 8 years. Happy seemed unlikely. Let's just focus on letting her know you're safe first. As they crossed the Brooklyn Bridge, Alex found himself studying the girls. They were mirror images of each other, yet he could already sense subtle differences. Emma seemed to be the spokesperson, more direct and confident. Lily clutched her stuffed rabbit like a talisman, more cautious but equally determined. That's a nice rabbit, he said to Lily. His name is Hopper, she replied. Mom gave him to me when I was 3. Emma has a bear named Paddington. I left him at home today, Emma explained. For safekeeping. Smart, Alex nodded. So, do you like school? It's okay, Emma shrugged. I like art and science. Lily likes reading and math. Mom says I get my love of numbers from you, Lily added, watching his reaction carefully. The simple statement hit Alex like a physical blow. Claire had told them about him, not just his existence but details about who he was. While he'd been building his company, oblivious, she'd been raising his daughters, telling them stories about their absent father. What else did your mom tell you about me? He asked, his voice rougher than he intended. The girls exchanged glances again, that silent twin communication that excluded everyone else. That you're really smart, Emma began. And that you work too hard, Lily continued. And that you liked your coffee with just a little bit of sugar, no cream. And that you have the same eyebrows as us. And that you weren't ready to be a dad when we were born. The last one landed heavily in the car. Alex stared out the window, unsure how to respond. Had he been ready? He'd never been given the choice. We're here, the driver announced, pulling up to a well-maintained brownstone in a tree-lined Brooklyn neighborhood. This is our building, Emma confirmed. We're on the 3rd floor. Alex helped the girls out of the car, instructing his driver to wait. As they climbed the steps to the entrance, he felt an unfamiliar nervousness. He'd faced down boardrooms full of skeptical investors, negotiated billion-dollar deals, but the thought of seeing Claire again, of confronting the past and the choices she'd made for both of them, made his heart race. Inside, they climbed 2 flights of stairs, the twins leading the way with increasing urgency, perhaps sensing their mother's worry. At apartment 3B, Emma raised her hand to knock, then hesitated, looking back at Alex. She might be really mad, she warned. I can handle it, Alex assured her, though he wasn't entirely convinced. Lily knocked, and almost immediately they heard rapid footsteps approaching the door. Claire Thompson's hands had been trembling as she stared at her phone. 3 missed calls from Westbrook Academy, and now a text message that made her blood run cold. Ms. Thompson, your daughters did not board their usual bus. Please contact the school immediately. She called the school, their friends' parents, even the neighborhood bookstore where the girls sometimes lingered after classes. No one had seen Emma and Lily since dismissal 3 hours ago. Now she paced her Brooklyn apartment, alternating between panic and forced calm, as she waited for news from the police officer who had just left to check nearby parks. 7-year-olds didn't just vanish in New York City. Not her careful, sensible girls who knew the rules about strangers and staying together. The doorbell rang. Claire flew to answer it, praying for good news. She froze, hand on the doorknob, when she heard familiar giggles on the other side. She flung the door open to find Emma and Lily beaming up at her, and behind them, a ghost from her past. Alexander Harrington, looking exactly like his Forbes cover photos, except for the shell-shocked expression on his face. "Mommy!" the twins chorused, rushing to hug her. "We found him!" Emma exclaimed. "We found our dad." If you've ever had to make a life-changing decision in seconds, hit that like button and share in the comments. Because that's exactly what happened next. Claire's knees nearly buckled. She knelt, gathering her daughters close, relief and shock warring for dominance. "You too. Do you have any idea how worried I've been? The police are out looking for you." "We're sorry," Lily said, suddenly contrite. "But we had a plan. We practiced on Google Maps and everything." "You took the subway by yourselves?" Claire's voice rose with renewed panic. "We were very careful," Emma assured her. "We stayed together the whole time." Claire looked up at Alex, who stood awkwardly in the hallway, hands in his pockets. 8 years had added subtle lines around his eyes, a touch of silver at his temples. The same intense blue gaze that had once made her feel like the only person in the world. "Alex," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. "Hello, Claire." His voice was deeper than she remembered. "May I come in? I think we have some things to discuss." She nodded, stepping back to let him enter the apartment she'd worked so hard to make a home for her daughters. The space suddenly felt smaller, less polished compared to what he must be accustomed to now. "Girls," she said, finding her voice, "go wash up and change out of your uniforms. I need to talk to Mr. Harrington alone." "But Mom," Lily began. "Now, please." Claire's tone left no room for argument. "And I'll be calling the police to let them know you're safe." Once the twins reluctantly disappeared down the hallway, Claire turned to face Alex. The silence between them felt weighted with 8 years of unspoken words. "I didn't put them up to this," she said finally. "I would never." "I know," Alex interrupted gently. "They told me they planned it themselves. Quite the little strategists." A hint of pride colored his voice. Claire sank onto the sofa, suddenly exhausted. "I can't believe they did this. They could have been—" She couldn't finish the sentence, the possibilities too terrifying. Alex remained standing, taking in the apartment with its colorful throw pillows, framed children's artwork, and overflowing bookshelves. So different from the sterile luxury of his penthouse. "They're mine, aren't they?" he asked quietly. Claire met his eyes directly. "Yes. Why didn't you tell me?" The question hung between them, simple yet impossibly complex. Claire took a deep breath. "You were just starting to get serious traction with your first company. 16-hour days, investor meetings, coding through the night. You talked about changing the world, about responsibilities to your team, about the sacrifices necessary for success." She shook her head. "I was the girl who made your coffee and listened to your dreams. When I found out I was pregnant with twins, I knew what choice you'd make. You didn't give me the chance to make any choice," Alex said, an edge creeping into his voice. "No," Claire acknowledged. "I made it for both of us. Maybe that was wrong. But I watched my own mother put her life on hold for a man who resented her for it. I couldn't bear the thought of you looking at me, at them, as the reason your dreams got derailed." Alex ran a hand through his hair, a gesture so familiar it made Claire's chest ache. "So you just disappeared." "I moved back to my hometown in Connecticut, had the girls, finished my degree online while my mother helped with childcare. We moved to Brooklyn 3 years ago when I started my business." She gestured around the apartment. "We've done well. The girls are happy, healthy, thriving at school. I never planned to keep them from you forever, but I wanted to wait until they were old enough to understand. and until I was established enough that you wouldn't think I was after your money. Alex finally sat down, perching on the edge of the armchair across from her. They have my mother's eyes, he said softly. Claire nodded. And your stubborn determination, apparently. I've been showing them pictures, telling them stories about you. I wanted them to know where they came from, even if they never met you. I never imagined they'd take matters into their own hands like this. They said you told them I was kind, Alex said, something vulnerable flickering across his face. After I let you disappear without finding you. You were kind, Alex. Intense, driven, sometimes oblivious to the world outside your vision, but kind. Claire smiled faintly. And you didn't let me disappear. I made sure you couldn't find me. The sound of small feet padding down the hallway interrupted them. Emma and Lily appeared in matching pajamas, faces freshly scrubbed, eyes wide with anticipation. Are you mad at us? Lily asked, her lower lip trembling slightly. Claire opened her arms, and both girls rushed to her side. I'm not mad, but I am very disappointed in your decision to go off alone in the city. You know better than that. But we found him, Emma pointed out, glancing at Alex. And he came back with us. That means he wants to know us, right? All eyes turned to Alex. Claire held her breath, suddenly terrified of what he might say. These little girls with their hopeful faces had no idea how their world might shatter with a few careless words. Alex leaned forward, his expression serious. What you did today was dangerous, and you scared your mom very much. You should never do anything like that again. He paused, his voice softening. But yes, I do want to know you. Very much. The twins' faces lit up with identical smiles. However, Alex continued, this is complicated. Your mom and I have a lot to talk about. Adult things that will take time to figure out. Like how you're going to be our dad now? Lily asked innocently. Claire winced. Girls, Mr. Harrington has his own life, his own work. He can't just... Actually, Alex interrupted. That's exactly what we need to discuss. How I can be part of your lives, if that's what everyone wants. He looked at Claire. If you'll allow it. The twins bounced with excitement, but Claire felt a knot of anxiety tighten in her stomach. She'd spent 8 years building a life without Alex Harrington, a life where she made the decisions, where her daughters' hearts weren't vulnerable to a man whose first priority had always been his work. It's getting late, she said, buying time. Girls, say goodnight to Mr. Harrington. He needs to go home, and you need to get to bed. Disappointment clouded their faces, but they obediently stood. Will you come back tomorrow? Emma asked Alex. He glanced at Claire, who gave a small nod. Yes, I'll come back tomorrow. We can talk more then. The girls threw themselves at him, hugging him fiercely before Claire could intervene. After a moment's hesitation, Alex's arms closed around them, his expression a mixture of wonder and terror that would have been comical under different circumstances. After Claire tucked the twins into bed with stern reminders about their grounding for the subway adventure, she returned to find Alex standing by the window, looking out at the Brooklyn streetscape below. They're extraordinary, he said without turning around. You've done an amazing job with them. Thank you. Claire stood awkwardly in her own living room, unsure what to do with her hands, her voice, her racing thoughts. Alex turned to face her. I missed 8 years of their lives. I know. The weight of that admission pressed on her chest. I'm sorry. I'm not asking for your apology, Claire. I'm trying to understand what happens now. His voice was steady, analytical, the problem solver she remembered. I have meetings in Tokyo next week, a product launch the week after, board obligations. Claire felt a familiar disappointment settle in her stomach. Of course, his work would still come first. Some things never changed. The girls will be fine, she said, more sharply than intended. They've been fine for 7 years without disrupting your schedule. Alex's eyes narrowed. That's not fair, isn't it? You're already listing all your commitments, all the reasons you can't possibly make space for 2 little girls who think you hung the moon simply because you exist. Claire crossed her arms. This is exactly why I left, Alex. Your priorities were clear then, and they're clear now. You don't know what my priorities are, he countered. You never gave me the chance to figure them out where you and the girls were concerned. They stared at each other across the room, 8 years of choices and consequences stretching between them. I should go, Alex said finally. We're both tired, and this conversation deserves better than we can give it tonight. He reached for his coat. What time tomorrow? The girls have ballet until noon. Come at 1. He nodded, moving toward the door. For what it's worth, Claire, I looked for you. Not as hard as I should have, perhaps, but I did look. You weren't just forgettable. The words hung in the air between them as he left, closing the door softly behind him. Claire sank onto the sofa, her mind spinning with possibilities and fears. Alexander Harrington was back in her life, in their lives. The carefully constructed world she'd built for her daughters had just tilted on its axis, and she had no idea if they would all find their footing or tumble into chaos. 8 years earlier, Claire Thompson had been 24, working at Café Luna while finishing her graphic design degree at night. The small coffee shop near the emerging tech district had become a second home to dozens of ambitious young entrepreneurs, including Alex Harrington. She'd noticed him immediately, not just because he was handsome, though he certainly was, with those intense blue eyes and the way he ran his hand through his dark hair when he was thinking. No, what had drawn her to Alex was his focus. While other startup founders came in to network and be seen, Alex came to work. He'd claim the corner table by the window, order a simple coffee with just a touch of sugar, and disappear into his laptop for hours. You know, we do have a 2-hour table limit during rush, she'd finally said one rainy Tuesday afternoon, when he'd been there since opening. He'd looked up, blinking as if emerging from another dimension. I'm sorry. It's been 6 hours, Claire had pointed to the clock. You've had 3 refills and half a muffin. Instead of being annoyed, he'd laughed. A warm, genuine sound that transformed his serious face. I'm developing an algorithm that could revolutionize cybersecurity. Time gets away from me. Does it work? Your algorithm. He'd looked surprised by her interest. It's getting there. The neural network needs more training data, but the preliminary results are promising. I have no idea what that means, Claire had admitted, but it sounds impressive. It's not impressive yet, he'd said with unexpected humility. But it will be. That had been the beginning. Coffee refills became conversations. Conversations became closing time walks to the subway. Walks became dinners at the all-night diner where they'd talk until dawn. He about his vision for technology that could protect people's digital lives. She about her dreams of building a design business that would let her create on her own terms. They weren't dating, not exactly. There was no time in Alex's life for dating. But there was something between them, a connection and understanding. Claire saw the man beneath the ambition, and Alex found in her a rare person who didn't want anything from him except his company. Until the night of his first major investment round. He'd burst into the cafe just before closing, eyes bright with triumph. We got the funding, he'd announced, pulling her into an impulsive hug over the counter. $3 million. We can scale the team, upgrade the servers, accelerate development. They'd celebrated with champagne on the roof of his apartment building. The city lights spread before them like a carpet of stars. Under that vast sky, with possibility humming between them, one kiss had led to another, and the line they'd carefully maintained had blurred into nothing. In the morning, Alex had been on his phone before dawn, already scheduling meetings, making plans. Claire had watched him, a strange sadness settling over her despite the night's joy. She'd seen a glimpse of her future in his frantic energy, always secondary to the next milestone, the next achievement. 2 weeks later, she'd stared at the pregnancy test in her tiny bathroom, 2 pink lines changing everything. She never told him, never gave him the chance to choose them over his dreams. Perhaps that had been selfish. Perhaps it had been merciful. Either way, she'd packed her things, left her apartment key with her roommate, and disappeared from New York and Alex Harrington's life. Until today, when 2 determined little girls had undone 8 years of careful separation in the space of an elevator ride. Sisters, Tag someone who showed incredible courage when facing their past. And if you're enjoying this journey, subscribe to join our storytelling family. Alex sat in the back of his town car, staring unseeing at the Manhattan skyline as they crossed the Brooklyn Bridge. Daughters. He had daughters. Twin daughters with curious minds and brave hearts who had crossed New York City alone just to find him. His phone buzzed incessantly. Marcus, his executive team, the investors he'd left waiting in the boardroom. The $200 million funding round that had seemed so crucial this morning now felt distant and unimportant compared to the revelation of two small lives connected to his. He picked up when his COO, Vanessa, called for the third time. Alex, what the hell happened? Marcus said something about kids? The Westlake team is rescheduled for tomorrow, but they're not happy. I have daughters, he said, the words strange on his tongue. 7-year-old twin daughters I knew nothing about until they walked into my elevator an hour ago. Silence on the line. Then, Jesus, Alex, are you sure they're yours? Yes, he had no doubt. Beyond the striking physical resemblance, something deeper had recognized them instantly. Some primal part of him that had awakened the moment Emma had said, "You're our dad. What do you need?" Vanessa asked, shifting immediately into problem-solving mode. Time. Space to figure this out. Alex rubbed his temples. Clear my schedule for tomorrow. Move the Tokyo trip to video conference if possible. And find me the best family lawyer in the city. Not to fight for custody, he added quickly. Just to understand my rights and responsibilities. Consider it done. And Alex, congratulations, I think. After hanging up, Alex leaned his head back against the leather seat. His carefully ordered life had just been upended by two small girls with red ribbons in their hair. The strange thing was, beneath the shock and confusion, he felt something unexpected stirring. A fierce, protective instinct he'd never experienced before. They were his daughters. The thought terrified and exhilarated him in equal measure. His driver glanced in the rearview mirror. Home, sir? Alex hesitated. His penthouse suddenly seemed cold and empty, a place for the man he had been this morning, not the father he had become in the space of an hour. Yes, he said finally. Home, but make a stop first. I need to pick up some things. The next morning, Alex arrived at Claire's apartment precisely at 1 o'clock, carrying 2 identical gift bags and a portfolio tucked under his arm. He'd barely slept, spending most of the night researching child development, twins, and father-daughter relationships. By dawn, he drafted 3 different approaches to integrating himself into the girls' lives, complete with timelines and contingency plans. It was how he approached every challenge, with preparation, strategy, and backup options. But as Claire opened the door, her expression guarded, he realized this wasn't a business problem to solve. This was about people, his daughters, their mother, and the complicated emotions between them all. You came, Claire said, sounding slightly surprised despite their agreement. I said I would. Alex held up the gift bags. Is it okay if I brought them something? Claire hesitated, then nodded, stepping aside to let him in. They've been talking about you nonstop since they woke up. I've never seen them so excited about anything. The apartment looked different in daylight, warmer, more lived in, with morning sunlight streaming through the windows. A half-finished puzzle dominated the coffee table, and children's books were stacked neatly on a shelf beside classic novels and design references. The girls are in their room, Claire said. I'll get them. She paused. What did you bring? Books, Alex said. I remembered you said Lily likes reading and math, and Emma enjoys art and science. I thought it might be a good starting point. Something softened in Claire's expression. That's thoughtful. Thank you. As she disappeared down the hallway, Alex took a deep breath. He'd faced board meetings with less anxiety than he felt waiting to spend time with his own children. Moments later, the twins burst into the living room, their faces lighting up when they saw him. They wore matching denim overalls with different colored shirts underneath. Lily in purple, Emma in green. You came back, Emma exclaimed, as if she'd half expected him to vanish. I promised I would, Alex said, kneeling to their level. And I brought you something. He handed each girl the gift bag with her name carefully written on the tag. They looked to Claire, who nodded permission, then eagerly pulled out the tissue paper. Lily gasped as she unwrapped the phantom toll booth and a book of mathematical puzzles. "Mom, look, it's the book you said you were going to get me for my birthday." Emma was equally delighted with her illustrated book on women scientists and a sketchbook with professional-grade colored pencils. "These are the fancy ones they have at the art store. How did you know?" Alex glanced at Claire, who looked as surprised as the girls. "Lucky guess," he said. "I liked similar things when I was your age." "Did you like to draw too?" Emma asked, already opening the sketchbook. "Not exactly, but I like to design things on paper first, then on computers. Like Mom does," Lily said. "She designs websites and logos and stuff." Alex nodded. "Your mom was always creative. That's one of the things I admired about her." Claire's eyes widened slightly at the unexpected compliment. "Girls, why don't you show your—" "Alex, the pictures you drew this morning while I make some coffee." As Claire retreated to the kitchen, the twins eagerly led Alex to the dining table where several drawings were spread out. Each depicted what was clearly meant to be the three of them. Alex, Emma, and Lily, engaged in various activities. At a park, eating ice cream, at what appeared to be a science museum. "This is what we want to do with you," Emma explained, pointing to each picture. "Mom says we have to get to know you slowly, but we already know lots about you." "You do?" Alex asked, genuinely curious. Lily nodded enthusiastically. "You like black coffee with just a little sugar. Your favorite color is blue. You're allergic to cats. You can type really fast without looking at the keyboard. And you're super smart with computers." "Mom told you all that?" Alex was surprised Claire had remembered such details, let alone shared them. "Some of it," Emma said. "And we looked you up on the internet too. You're famous." Alex laughed. "Not famous exactly. Just in the news sometimes because of my company." "What's it like being a billionaire?" Lily asked bluntly. Before Alex could answer, Claire returned with a tray holding coffee for the adults and juice for the girls. "Lily, that's not a polite question." "It's okay," Alex said. "It's a fair question." He considered how to explain wealth to 7-year-olds. "Having money means I can build the things I imagine and help solve big problems. But it doesn't make me any happier than having people I care about." "Do you care about us?" Emma asked, her hazel eyes, his mother's eyes, searching his face. "Yes," Alex said without hesitation. "I know we just met, but I do care about you. Very much. Even though you didn't know about us before?" Lily pressed. Alex felt Claire tense beside him. "I wish I had known about you," he said carefully. "I missed a lot of important things. Your birth, your first steps, your first words. But I'm here now, and I'd like to be part of your lives going forward, if that's okay with you and your mom." The twins looked to Claire, who took a sip of coffee before responding. "We're going to take things one step at a time," she said. "Mr. Harrington, Alex, has a very busy life, and we need to figure out how everything fits together." "But he's our dad," Emma insisted. "He should be with us." Claire's expression tightened. "It's more complicated than that, sweetheart." "Why?" Lily asked. "Don't you like him anymore?" The directness of children, Alex thought. No social filters, just straight to the heart of the matter. "Your mom and I haven't seen each other in a long time," Alex intervened, sensing Claire's discomfort. "We need to get to know each other again, just like I need to get to know you too. How about we start with something simple?" Claire suggested, clearly grateful for the redirect. "Alex, would you like to join us for dinner tonight? The girls and I usually make pizza on Fridays." "I'd like that very much," Alex said, surprised by the invitation. "Can we show him our room first?" Emma asked. Claire nodded. "Go ahead. I'll clean up here." As the twins led him down the hallway, chattering excitedly about their toys and books, Alex glanced back at Claire. She stood by the table, watching them go, her expression a complex mixture of worry and resignation. The girls' bedroom was exactly what he would have expected. 2 twin beds with colorful quilts, bookshelves overflowing with children's literature, a small desk with art supplies, and walls decorated with their drawings. What he hadn't expected was the framed photo on their nightstand, a picture of him from years ago, laughing at something off camera. He recognized it as one Claire had taken during their brief time together. "Mom gave us that so we'd know what you look like," Lily explained, following his gaze. "She said you have a nice smile, but you didn't show it enough." Alex picked up the frame, studying his younger self. "Your mom was right about that. Do you have pictures of us now?" Emma asked. "Not yet," Alex admitted. "But I'd like to take some, if that's okay." "We can take a selfie," Lily suggested, bouncing on her toes. "Mom lets us use her phone sometimes for pictures." Before Alex could respond, his own phone rang. He checked the screen. Marcus Reynolds, undoubtedly calling about the rescheduled funding meeting. "I need to take this," he said apologetically. "Business call." The twins' faces fell in perfect synchronization, a sight that twisted something in Alex's chest. "It'll just take a minute," he promised, stepping into the hallway. "I'll be right back." He answered the call, keeping his voice low. "Marcus, I can't talk long. Alex, the Westlake team is getting antsy. They're talking about taking the deal to Meridian Tech instead. We need to lock this down today." Alex closed his eyes. $200 million. Market expansion. Competitive advantage. All the things that had defined his existence for years. "I can't do it today," he said firmly. "I'm with my daughters. Look, I get that this is a shock, but you have responsibilities." "Yes, I do," Alex interrupted. "And right now I'm fulfilling them. Reschedule for Monday." He ended the call and turned to find Claire standing in the hallway, having clearly overheard. "You didn't have to do that," she said quietly. "I know how important your work is." "It is important," Alex acknowledged. "But so is this." He gestured toward the girls' room, where Emma and Lily were visible through the doorway, showing something to each other in one of their new books. "I've missed 7 years. I don't want to miss any more." Claire studied him, as if trying to reconcile the man before her with the one she'd known. "They'll be disappointed if you make promises you can't keep." "I know that. Do you?" "Because these aren't investors or employees, Alex. They're little girls who will have their hearts broken if you drift in and out of their lives whenever it's convenient for your schedule." The accusation stung, but Alex recognized the fear behind it. "I'm not going to do that. You say that now, but I mean it, Claire." His voice was quiet but intense. "I understand why you left. I was obsessed with building something that would last, something meaningful. I thought that meant my company. Now I realize there are more important legacies." Claire's skepticism was palpable. "People don't change overnight." "No," Alex agreed. "But sometimes they get a wake-up call." He pulled the portfolio from under his arm and handed it to her. "This is for you. Legal documents establishing a trust for Emma and Lily's education and future. No strings attached. Whether I'm in their lives or not, they'll be taken care of." Claire took the portfolio but didn't open it. "I don't want your money, Alex. It's not for you. It's for them. And it's not negotiable." He softened his tone. "I'm not trying to buy my way into their lives. I just want to do right by them, starting now." Before Claire could respond, the twins appeared in the doorway. "Are you guys fighting?" Emma asked, her forehead creased with worry. "No, sweetheart," Claire assured her. "We're just having a grown-up conversation." "About us," Lily guessed. "Yes," Alex admitted. "About how much I want to be part of your lives." "And can you be?" Emma pressed. "For real?" Alex looked at Claire, silently asking permission. After a long moment, she gave a small nod. "Yes," he told the girls. "For real. It might take some time to figure everything out, but I'm not going anywhere." The twins exchanged one of their silent communications. Then Emma spoke for both of them. "Good, because we've waited a really long time to meet you, and we have lots of things to show you and tell you. I want to hear and see all of it," Alex promised. "Starting with pizza night?" Lily asked hopefully. "Starting with pizza night," he confirmed. As the girls cheered and began debating toppings, Claire caught Alex's eye. "One step at a time," she reminded him quietly. "One step at a time," he agreed. But as he watched his daughters, racing back to their room to prepare for the evening ahead, Alex knew with absolute certainty that his life had changed forever. The path forward wouldn't be simple or straightforward, but for the first time in years, he felt like he was moving in the right direction. My queens, have you ever had to choose between your heart and your head? Share your wisdom below. 3 months later, Alex stood in the same elevator where he'd first met his daughters. But this time Emma and Lily were beside him by design, not by surprise. They wore matching blue dresses for the occasion, their hair styled in elaborate braids that Claire had spent an hour perfecting that morning. "Are you nervous, Dad?" Emma asked, using the title that still sent a thrill through him every time he heard it. "A little," Alex admitted. "This is a big day." "But you talk to your board all the time," Lily pointed out, practical as always. "Yes, but I've never introduced them to my daughters before." The past 3 months had been a careful dance of integration, weekend visits, dinner twice a week, school events when his schedule allowed. Alex had rearranged meetings, delegated responsibilities, and even turned down a speaking engagement in Singapore to attend the twin school play. Claire had watched his efforts with cautious optimism, gradually allowing him more time with the girls as she saw his commitment wasn't wavering. They'd established a rhythm, the 4 of them, not quite a traditional family but something uniquely their own. Today marked a new step. Alex was officially introducing Emma and Lily to his professional world, bringing them to Harrington Tower not as unexpected visitors, but as his acknowledged daughters. "Remember what we practiced," he reminded them as the elevator climbed. "This is a short visit. We'll meet some of the people I work with, see my office, and then head to the museum as planned. And we have to be on our best behavior because it's a place of business," Lily recited. "Exactly. Will Ms. Vanessa be there?" Emma asked. "I liked her when she came to dinner." "Yes, she'll be there." Alex smiled, remembering how his no-nonsense duo had been completely charmed by the twins when he'd finally introduced them. "She's looking forward to seeing you again." The elevator doors opened on the 52nd floor, executive territory. Alex led the girls past the reception desk, where the assistant did a double-take at the sight of the CEO with 2 small children in tow. "Mr. Harrington, your 11:30 is waiting in the conference room," she said, recovering quickly. "Thank you, Jennifer. These are my daughters, Emma and Lily. Girls, say hello to Ms. Jennifer." "Hello," they chorused politely. Jennifer smiled. "It's very nice to meet you both." As they continued down the hallway, Alex felt a strange sense of worlds colliding. For so long, he'd kept his personal and professional lives entirely separate. Now, with his daughter's small hands in his, those boundaries were dissolving. The conference room door was open, revealing his executive team and several board members gathered around the table. Conversation stopped as they entered, all eyes turning to the unexpected sight of Alexander Harrington with 2 little girls. "Everyone," Alex said, his voice steady despite the flutter of nervousness in his stomach, "I'd like you to meet Emma and Lily Harrington, my daughters." There was a moment of stunned silence before Vanessa rose from her seat, smiling warmly. "Welcome to Harrington Tech, girls. We've heard so much about you." The twins, suddenly shy in the face of so many unfamiliar adults, pressed closer to Alex's sides. "It's okay," he murmured, squeezing their hands reassuringly. "These are the people who help me run the company." Marcus Reynolds, who hadn't seen Alex since the day of the elevator encounter, studied the girls with undisguised curiosity. "The resemblance is remarkable," he observed, "especially around the eyes." "Mom says we have our grandmother's eyes," Emma said, finding her voice. "But Dad's eyebrows." A ripple of surprised laughter moved through the room at her directness. The tension broke, and several executives approached to introduce themselves. Alex watched with pride as his daughters handled the attention with growing confidence, answering questions about school and their interests with poise that belied their 7 years. These remarkable little people were part of him, a legacy more meaningful than any company he could build. Dad's taking us to the Science Museum after this, Lily informed the group. There's a special exhibit about space exploration. Dad, Marcus repeated quietly, sidling up to Alex. That didn't take long. Some things just fit, Alex replied, his eyes never leaving the twins as they charmed his board of directors. The $200 million deal went through, by the way. I know. I was there when you closed it. Marcus shook his head. You're different, you know. More, I don't know. Grounded. Alex nodded. Priorities change. And their mother? Marcus asked carefully. Claire, right? How's that situation? Alex gave him a measured look. Not a situation. She's the mother of my children and one of the most capable people I've ever known. We're figuring things out. The truth was more complicated. He and Claire had developed a cautious co-parenting relationship, navigating the complexities of their past while focusing on what was best for Emma and Lily. There were moments when they all had dinner together, or when they sat side by side at school events, that Alex could almost imagine them as a family. But Claire kept careful boundaries in place. She was warm, cooperative, even friendly, but maintained an emotional distance that Alex hadn't yet found a way to bridge. All right, everyone, Alex announced, checking his watch. We have a museum to get to. Thank you for welcoming Emma and Lily. As they said their goodbyes and headed toward his office to collect his things, Lily tugged on his hand. Dad, can we see where you work? Your actual desk. Of course. He led them into his corner office with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Manhattan. The space was minimalist and functional, a large desk, ergonomic chair, conference table, and not much else. It's kind of empty, Emma observed, looking around with slight disappointment. Alex laughed. What were you expecting? I don't know. Cool computers? Robot assistants? Mom's office has all her designs on the walls and plants everywhere. Your mom has always been better at making spaces feel like home, Alex admitted. He opened a drawer and pulled out a small frame. But I do have this. It was a photograph of Emma and Lily from their first weekend together, both laughing as they fed ducks in Central Park. Claire had taken it and sent it to him afterward, the first of many such gestures that had gradually thawed the ice between them. You keep our picture in your desk? Lily asked, clearly pleased. Every day. Alex set the frame on his desk, where it looked strangely out of place among the sleek technology and minimalist design. Maybe you're right. This office could use some personality. We could draw you some pictures for the walls, Emma suggested eagerly. I'd like that very much. As they left the building and headed toward the museum, Alex felt his phone vibrate. A text from Claire. How did it go? He smiled, typing back, Great. They charmed everyone. Heading to museum now. 3 dots appeared as she typed her response. Not surprised. They get that from you. It was a small thing, that acknowledgement of a shared trait, but it warmed him nonetheless. Progress, slow but steady. At the museum, the twins raced ahead to the space exhibit, their excitement contagious. Alex followed, watching as they pressed their faces against the glass of a lunar module display. Dad, come see this, Emma called, waving him over to an interactive station about gravity. That, the word still amazed him every time. 3 months ago, he'd been Alexander Harrington, tech CEO, focused solely on building his empire. Now he was simply Dad, to 2 extraordinary little girls who had turned his world upside down in the best possible way. As he joined them at the exhibit, helping Lily understand the concept of gravitational pull, his phone rang. Claire again. Everything okay? He answered, stepping slightly aside while keeping the girls in view. Yes, just checking in. Her voice sounded different, hesitant. Listen, I was thinking, my mother's coming to visit next weekend. She's been asking to meet you. Alex raised his eyebrows in surprise. Claire's mother, the girl's grandmother, was an important figure in their lives. But Claire had kept her family separate from their developing co-parenting arrangement until now. I'd like that, he said carefully. She's important to the girls, Claire explained, as if justifying the invitation. And to me. Claire, Alex said gently. You don't have to explain. I want to meet her. I want to know everyone who matters to Emma and Lily. Pause. It's not just that. She wants to understand who you are. For her own peace of mind, I think. Because I'm the man who got her daughter pregnant and then disappeared for 7 years? The words came out more bitterly than he intended. Alex, I'm sorry. That wasn't fair. He watched as the twins moved to the next display, their heads bent together in identical poses of concentration. I'd be protective too in her position. It's more complicated than that. Claire's voice softened. There are things about my family, about why I left, things I haven't told you. Alex's attention sharpened. What things? Not over the phone. Maybe after dinner on Sunday when the girls are in bed we could talk? Really talk. The invitation hung between them, weighted with possibility. I'd like that, Alex said finally. Good. He could hear the relief in her voice. The girls texted me pictures from your office. They're so proud to be there with you. I'm the proud one, Alex said honestly. They're incredible, Claire. You did that. We did that, she corrected him quietly. They have your determination, your curiosity, your way of seeing problems as puzzles to solve. Those aren't things I taught them. The acknowledgement that he was part of who they were, even in his absence, touched something deep in Alex's chest. Thank you for saying that. It's just the truth. Claire paused. I should let you get back to them. Have fun at the museum. We will. See you at drop-off time. As he pocketed his phone and rejoined the twins, Alex felt a sense of anticipation about Sunday's conversation. There were still so many unanswered questions between him and Claire, so much unresolved history. Perhaps they were finally ready to face it together. Dad, can we get ice cream after this? Lily asked, slipping her small hand into his. Absolutely, Alex agreed, squeezing her fingers gently. Ice cream is essential after scientific exploration. Emma appeared on his other side, taking his free hand. And can we FaceTime Mom, so she can see the cool space stuff too? If she's not busy with work, sure. Alex smiled down at them. These two little miracles who had found him against all odds. Let's go see the stars together. The weekend arrived with a flurry of activity. Saturday was filled with ballet class, a birthday party for one of the twin school friends, and an impromptu trip to the bookstore when Lily finished her latest novel and declared it an emergency that she find the sequel immediately. By Sunday evening, when Claire's mother was due to arrive, Alex found himself uncharacteristically nervous. He'd faced down tech giants and venture capitalists without breaking a sweat, but the thought of meeting the woman who had helped raise his daughters, who had supported Claire through pregnancy and early motherhood when he should have been there, left him feeling oddly vulnerable. He arrived at Claire's apartment with flowers, roses for her mother, daisies for Claire, and small bouquets of colorful gerberas for each of the twins. Flowers for everyone? Claire asked when she opened the door, her eyebrows raised but a smile playing at her lips. Special occasions call for special gestures, Alex replied, handing her the daisies. You remembered, she said softly, taking the yellow blooms. That these are my favorite. I remember a lot of things, Alex said, their eyes meeting briefly before the moment was broken by the twins racing to greet him. Dad, Grandma's here, Emma announced, pulling him toward the living room. She brought us presents from Connecticut. Claire's mother, Patricia Thompson, stood as he entered. She was a handsome woman in her early 60s, with Claire's warm brown eyes and an air of quiet dignity. She studied Alex carefully, taking his measure in a way that reminded him powerfully of her daughter. Mr. Harrington, she said, extending her hand. I've heard quite a lot about you over the years. Alex, please, he replied, shaking her hand firmly. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Thompson. Thank you for everything you've done for Emma and Lily, and for Claire. Something in his sincere acknowledgement seemed to soften her slightly. Patricia, she offered, and they're my family. It's what we do for family. The emphasis on the word wasn't lost on Alex. The message was clear. These three had been a family long before he entered the picture. Grandma, Look what Dad brought us, Lily exclaimed, showing off her flowers. Very thoughtful, Patricia commented, watching Alex interact with the twins. The girls tell me you've been spending quite a bit of time with them. As much as possible, Alex confirmed. They're the most important people in my life now. Patricia's expression remained neutral, but her eyes were sharp. That's quite a change from what Claire described of your priorities before. Mom, Claire interjected from the doorway. Dinner's almost ready. Girls, come help me set the table. As the twins followed their mother to the kitchen, Patricia turned back to Alex. I'm not one to mince words, Mr. Harrington. Alex, he reminded her gently. Alex, she conceded. Those girls are my heart. For 7 years, I've watched them grow, helped Claire raise them, listened to them ask questions about their father. Now you're here, and they're absolutely besotted with you. I love them, Alex said simply. More than I thought possible. I believe you do, Patricia surprised him by saying. I can see it in how you look at them. But love isn't always enough. Children need consistency, reliability, presence. I know that. I'm committed to being all those things. Patricia studied him. Claire was 24 when she came home, pregnant and heartbroken. She believed you would resent her, and the babies, for derailing your ambitions. Was she wrong? The directness of the question caught Alex off guard. I don't know, he admitted after a moment. I can't say what I would have done then. I was obsessed with building my company, with proving myself. But I know who I am now, and I would do anything for Emma and Lily. And for Claire, Patricia asked quietly. Before Alex could respond, Claire called them to dinner. The conversation shifted to lighter topics as they ate. The twin school projects, Patricia's garden in Connecticut, a client Claire was particularly excited to be working with. Alex watched the easy interaction between Claire, her mother, and the girls, the shorthand of inside jokes, the gentle teasing, the unconscious physical affection. This was what family looked like. This was what he had missed, what he wanted to be part of. After dinner, when the twins had been tucked into bed with stories and kisses, the three adults settled in the living room with coffee. The atmosphere had shifted, grown more serious. Claire tells me you two have some things to discuss, Patricia said, setting down her cup. I think I'll turn in early. It's been a long day. She rose, squeezing her daughter's shoulder as she passed. Good night, dear. Alex. Once they were alone, silence stretched between them. Claire curled into the corner of the sofa, cradling her coffee cup like a shield. Your mother is formidable, Alex said finally. In the best way. Claire smiled faintly. She had to be. She raised me alone after my father left. I didn't know that. There's a lot you don't know, Alex. Claire set her cup down, meeting his eyes directly. That's what I wanted to talk about tonight. Alex leaned forward, giving her his full attention. I'm listening. Claire took a deep breath. When I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. Not just of being a single mother, or of disrupting your life, but of something much deeper. She paused, gathering her thoughts. My father was brilliant, a software engineer before it was cool. He had big dreams, revolutionary ideas. My mother supported him completely, put her own ambitions on hold to help him chase his vision. Alex felt a chill of recognition. Like me. Similar, Claire acknowledged. When I was 8, he got an offer from a tech company in California, his big break. But it meant uprooting our family, leaving my mother's support system. She was willing to do it for him. 2 weeks before we were supposed to move, he announced he was going alone. That we would hold him back. That he needed to focus completely on his work. Claire, Alex said softly, beginning to understand. He chose his ambition over us, Claire continued, her voice steady despite the pain evident in her eyes. And I watched what it did to my mother, how she blamed herself, how she wondered if she and I weren't enough to make him stay. It took her years to rebuild herself. So when you found out about the twins, I saw history repeating itself. You talked about your company the way my father talked about his work, with single-minded devotion. I couldn't bear the thought of my children growing up feeling like they were competing with an algorithm for their father's attention. Or worse, watching you resent them for complicating your path. I wouldn't have, Alex began, then stopped himself. I don't know what I would have done, he admitted. But I wish you'd given me the chance to choose. I was protecting them, Claire said. And maybe myself too. I couldn't face being another woman who wasn't enough to make a brilliant man stay. The raw honesty of her confession hung in the air between them. Alex moved to sit beside her on the sofa, close but not touching. Thank you for telling me, he said quietly. For helping me understand. Claire nodded, blinking back unexpected tears. I've been so afraid of letting you into our lives, of disrupting the stability we've built. But watching you with the girls these past months, you're not my father, Alex. You're showing up. You're putting them first. They make it easy, Alex said. They're extraordinary. Yes, they are. Claire smiled through her tears. And they adore you. What about you? Alex asked, the question he'd been holding back for months finally finding voice. Where do you fit in all this, Claire? We talk about co-parenting, about arrangements for the girls, but never about us. Claire looked away. There is no us, Alex. There never really was. We had a connection, yes, but we could have been something, Alex interrupted gently. If you'd stayed. If I'd found you. Maybe, Claire conceded. Or maybe we would have crashed and burned, leaving two little girls in the wreckage. And now, Alex reached out, tentatively covering her hand with his. We're different people than we were 8 years ago. I'm not that obsessed startup founder anymore. You're not that barista with dreams of your own business. No, Claire agreed, looking down at their hands. Now I'm a mother first. Everything else comes second. As it should be, Alex said. The girls will always come first, for both of us. But that doesn't mean there can't be something else too. Something just for us. Claire finally met his eyes. Are you saying what I think you're saying? I'm saying I'd like a chance, Claire. Not to pick up where we left off, we're way past that. But to start something new, something better. To see if there's still that connection between us, outside of being Emma and Lily's parents. And if there isn't? Claire asked softly. Then we'll be the best co-parents those girls could ask for, Alex promised. Claire was quiet for a long moment, her eyes searching his. I've spent 7 years building walls to protect myself and the girls, she finally said. It's not easy to let them down. I'm not asking you to tear them all down at once, Alex said. Just, maybe a small door? We could start with dinner. Just the two of us. A smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. Are you asking me on a date, Alexander Harrington? Yes, he said simply. I am. Claire took a deep breath. Okay. Okay, Alex repeated, surprised by her quick agreement. One dinner, she clarified. No promises beyond that. I'll take it. Alex smiled, feeling lighter than he had in years. Friday night. Claire nodded, then gently withdrew her hand from his. It's getting late. You should probably go. As Alex gathered his coat and prepared to leave, Claire walked him to the door. In the hallway, away from the sleeping twins, she paused. Alex, she said quietly, thank you for not hating me, for what I did. I could never hate you, Claire. You gave me the two most precious gifts in the world. He hesitated, then added, even if I had to wait a while to receive them. She smiled at that, a real smile that reached her eyes. Good night, Alex. Good night, Claire. As the door closed behind him, Alex stood in the hallway for a moment, processing everything that had happened. The revelations about Claire's father, her fears, the possibility of something new between them. It was a lot to take in. His phone buzzed with a text from Vanessa about an early meeting the next day. Once, that would have sent him straight back to the office to prepare. Now, he simply replied that he'd be there, then put the phone away. Some priorities had become very clear. 1 year later, Alex stood in that same elevator where it had all begun. This time he wasn't alone. Emma and Lily flanked him, dressed in matching blue dresses for the special occasion, and Claire stood beside him, her hand lightly touching his. "Nervous?" she asked quietly. "A little," he admitted. "It's a big day." "The biggest," Emma agreed solemnly. "But a good one," Lily added, practical as always. The elevator climbed past the 28th floor, where two determined little girls had once stepped in and changed his life forever, continuing upward to the rooftop garden where guests were already gathering. "I still can't believe we're doing this," Claire murmured, adjusting the simple white dress she wore. "Having second thoughts?" Alex asked, only half joking. She smiled up at him, the same smile that had first caught his attention across a coffee counter years ago. "Not a single one." The past year had been a journey of rediscovery and new beginnings. That first dinner date had led to another and another. Slowly, carefully, they had built something new between them, not recapturing what they'd briefly had before, but creating something stronger, more honest, more equal. 6 months ago, on a family trip to Connecticut to visit Patricia, Alex had proposed, not with grand gestures or public displays, but quietly, privately, with the twins as willing conspirators who had helped him pick the ring. Now, as the elevator doors opened to reveal the rooftop transformed with flowers and twinkling lights, their closest friends and family waiting, Alex felt a sense of completion he'd never known before. "Ready?" he asked, looking at the three people who had become his world. "Ready," they answered in unison. As they stepped out together, Alex thought about that day in the elevator. How two little girls with red ribbons in their hair had looked up at him and said 6 words that changed everything. "You're our dad. We found you." They had found him, indeed. And in finding him, they had helped him find himself. The man he was meant to be, the father they deserved, the partner Claire could trust with her heart again. The ceremony was simple and intimate. Emma and Lily, as flower girls and ring bearers combined, took their roles with utmost seriousness. Patricia, who had gradually warmed to Alex over the months, dabbed at her eyes as Claire and Alex exchanged vows. "I promise to choose you and our family every day," Alex said, his voice steady as he slipped the ring onto Claire's finger. "To build our future together, not just my vision alone." "I promise to trust in us," Claire responded, her eyes shining. "To face challenges together instead of running from them. To believe in second chances." As they sealed their promises with a kiss, cheers erupted from their gathered loved ones. Emma and Lily rushed forward to embrace them both, creating a family circle that felt like the most natural thing in the world. Later, as they danced under the stars, Claire rested her head against Alex's shoulder. "Did you ever imagine this?" she asked. "That day in the elevator, when 2 little girls claimed you as their father?" Alex smiled, remembering his shock, the immediate rearrangement of everything he thought mattered. "Never in a million years," he admitted. "But now I can't imagine any other path." Across the rooftop, Emma and Lily twirled in their blue dresses, laughing with their grandmother. They had orchestrated this reunion in their innocent, determined way, crossing a city alone because they believed in the connection that should exist between them and their father. "They're extraordinary," Claire murmured, following his gaze. "Like their mother," Alex replied, pressing a kiss to her temple. As the night deepened and the celebration continued around them, Alex reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From a chance meeting in a coffee shop, to an unexpected reunion in an elevator, to this moment of promise and new beginnings. Life rarely followed a straight path. Sometimes it took detours, wrong turns, years of separation. But sometimes, if you were very lucky, those winding roads led exactly where you were meant to be all along. "I love you," he whispered to Claire as they swayed to the music. "All 3 of you, more than anything." She smiled up at him. The walls that had once protected her heart now transformed into the foundation of something stronger. "We love you too. Always have, always will." In that moment, surrounded by the family he never knew he needed, Alexander Harrington, billionaire CEO, technological innovator, and most importantly, father and husband, was finally completely home. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more timeless love tales with Mr. Harrison.